everyone. Welcome back to our 10th episode of Capital Interns. Our podcast essentially helps those students in high school, first year or second year, university students to identify the career path that they want.
Today's guest studies communication and media studies with a minor in sociology at Carleton University, was a competitive basketball player and coach during high school, is passionate about meditation, loves sports and being outdoors, and is currently doing a communications co-op at Kinaxis.
I know him as one of the best public speakers from our high school, and he's the type of guy who's really laid back and, really chill to talk to, and, the type of guy you'd want to have a deep conversation with. Eren Egitman. How are you, Eren?
Hello. Thank you for having me, guys. I'm good. We out here just chilling, recording this podcast. Let's get down to this thing and let's diggity dog and do it. You know what I'm saying?
Diggity dog.
Thank you for being on the show, Eren. On today's episode, we'll be talking about Eren's experience in communications and media studies at Carleton, his passion for meditation, his co-op at Kinaxis, and his high school experience. All right, first question. What was your process behind choosing your degree program at Carleton?
So I was looking at Carleton and U Ottawa. And for U Ottawa, I knew I kind of wanted to go into marketing because I felt like I had a good experience with sales. I was a Puma sales associate for a little bit. I worked as a sales associate at a cleaning company as well for a little bit. And I had good interpersonal skills, so I applied to marketing at U Ottawa. And then, I applied to, I believe, marketing at Carleton as well. But my dad was like, hey, look at that program, communication and media studies. And I was like, oh yeah, it seems okay. And he's like, well, you might as well apply to it. It looks cool. I was like, I don't know, I'm not really a big fan. And he's like, you can apply, what's the worst that can happen? It's another opportunity. And I said, all right, say less. So I applied to it and I ended up getting accepted into it, and I ended up attending, and it was very wishy-washy, There's no real process for me choosing what to go into, but thanks to my dad, it just so happened that I got into an awesome program, and I love it even to this day, so yeah.
Yeah, you're lucky. Very, very spontaneous decision, huh?
Yeah, I got lucky, like I said. It was good that it's something down my alley as well, so it's good that, my dad recommended that because I don't think I would have liked marketing very much because I tried minoring in business when I was accepted into my program in university in comms and media, but I didn't really like it very much. Yeah.
How many courses did you do before you realized?
So I think I took three or four business courses. I think I took an accounting course, I took a marketing course, and I took another course, but I forget what it is. So yeah, I took three courses and I was like, no, it's not really for me. It's not very interesting. So I started focusing more on the people side of stuff, and I started taking more sociology classes. And I'm sure we'll get into that later into the podcast as well.
Yeah. And, the business courses, they still counted as approved electives?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So pretty much the way my degree works for anyone who's listening is think of it like a triangle, like a pyramid, okay? So first year is the bottom of the triangle, and the fact that you have one course that you're mandatory have to take, and everything else is an elective. And the further you go up, the less electives you get. So I had so much freedom that in fact I could have done a double major and a minor in my program if I knew exactly which courses I wanted to take and took no other courses other than those courses. But of course I had some fun with it. Took a few anthropology classes, took a few Greek civilization classes, tried different stuff and just see what I enjoyed. So yeah.
Yo, that sounds like the reverse of engineering. All required courses.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it is.
Yeah, literally.
My friend in engineering at U Ottawa is taking civil. I think he has one elective.
Yeah.
In his entire 4 years.
Yeah.
So
it'd be like that.
Crazy.
And communications is the oldest program at Carleton, isn't it?
So communications is very similar to journalism, and journalism is the oldest program at Carleton. So it's sort of a branch off. I think communications is a lot more modern branch off. So I think it was in the 2000s that they made the communications program. Originally it was just communications, and then it was mass communications or something, and then it turned into communication and media studies. But journalism and communication and media studies are very, very similar in the fact that they focus on quite similar stuff. They both focus on the medium of communication. They both focus on media. I think journalism, at least to my degree or my understanding, I haven't taken any classes of it, but I think it's more of like understanding or like reporting on events or reporting on media events. So like maybe like a journalist or like somebody like a news anchor that you see. So I think it's more about a questioning point of view from story. So it's definitely more of like a story perspective, whereas I think the comms and media program is definitely more of like a theoretical perspective and a theoretical approach, because you explore different mediums such as the camera, the phone, the radio, but you also look at these mediums through media and their representations and how they've changed throughout society. And it's not only just media, but it's a lot of different stuff. You try and understand how they're framed, how stories are being framed, what agendas are being pushed forward. So, well, I didn't take many journalism classes. I can tell that they're very similar because they're in the same stream. They share the same building, same faculty. Like most of the staff who work in communications also work in journalism. So they're side by side. And yeah, I think Carleton was founded on journalism. Like I think that was their original first program, if I'm not mistaken.
Does comms have like a dedicated building at Carleton?
Yeah, so comms and journalism share the River building at Carleton.
No way.
Yeah. So it's the most beautiful building on campus.
You guys are lucky.
It's the most beautiful building on campus, if you ask me. It's right by the river. So you can just go down, sit and just like do some typing and do some work right by the river. You can even like study inside the building and have a like crystal clear view of the river.
I was wondering about more so like, how you chose your program in the moment. Do you think like, in general, like high school has given you like, some exposure to different career fields? And if not, like, what do you think could be done to, change that?
To a certain extent, of course. I think high school does a good job of like laying down the basic foundational elements that you'll use throughout any university degree. But I think they need to do a better job on being able to really demonstrate to students what the difference between high school and university is, because there's a pretty significant difference. And it's tough to tell that when you haven't experienced it yourself. So for first years going into it, it's a bit of a confusing time and it can be stressful because things are changing really rapidly and you don't know how to react to it, especially to these new first year students coming in this year who are doing all classes online. I feel really bad for them. Yeah, that's really tough. There's a lot of things that I think can be improved on. First of all, I think if high schools can bring in university students to show some of their academic work, and to show some of, like what they do on a daily basis, how much they're studying, some time management skills that they use, how much time they spend in lecture, right? And what it takes to, really succeed at a high level in university, because what it takes to succeed in university at a high level is much more demanding than what it takes to succeed in high school at a high level. So I think being able to like show the different skills that you need to develop is important. And also like don't expect people to come to your high school or wherever and tell you like, okay, university's like this, right? Try and take it into your own hands, like go to the universities and just sit down in the library or whatever building you want and see what the atmosphere is like. Go into the guidance office and ask like what the workload is like, see if there's online like orientation, right? There's a lot of things that you can do to, really make yourself more comfortable with the process of moving into the university setting. Yeah, just take it one step at a time and you should be good for sure.
Was your expectation of university different when you actually got to university?
Yeah, very much so. Probably like ever since I knew what university was, my understanding of university was very different. I thought it was something like only adults go to do, and that like you have to be like the super mature person who like knows of everything and like you're like super wise and everything. But I don't know, like it's changed for sure, because honestly I think it's a place where people understand that they're actually enjoying their academic work, at least for me. Because when I was in high school, I was like, bro, why am I doing school? This is so stupid. But when you go to university, you realize that it's a lot more focused. Like in high school, you take a lot of different classes. And I think that's part of the beauty of high school, is that it exposes you to all these different things, and then you can choose what you want to go into, which is still a hard decision, but at least you're exposed to all these different elements. When you're in university, though, you have this one program that you're in, and most of the classes that you're going to be taking are very focused or streamlined in that direction of that program, right? So if you're in a software engineering degree, you're not going to be taking art classes on how to design an architecture building, right? So, so it's different in the sense that like you won't be getting as much variety of courses, except like if you're in a program like me where you're getting a lot of electives. But I think it's nice because you can really it's like a different atmosphere. Your professors are more intellectual. The content is more intellectual, so you're going to be learning about more academic stuff. And if you're someone who enjoys academia and academic articles and, taking your intellect and your critical thinking skills to the next level, then I don't see why you wouldn't enjoy it, because it challenges you. And I think that challenge really, makes you a better person.
No, I definitely agree. Even for me, what I thought university was like what you mentioned, only adults go there. Yeah. You have to be super wise and intelligent and got your shit together to be there. But when I finally got there, it sort of became a place where I would learn to grow in whatever sense that was, emotionally, mentally. It was different from high school in the sense that I didn't feel like I was stuck in the middle of four walls learning things that I didn't want to, but I was actually able to explore other stuff, meet different kinds of people. Because I feel like when you're in high school, everyone is sort of boxed in together and you sort of have just one idea. And again, if you don't fit in, then, you get bullied or you don't have as much fun in high school because nobody wants to talk to you and whatnot. But in university, it's kind of like nobody cares, right? Everyone is themselves.
There's way too many people to care.
Exactly. There's way too many people to care. And you can meet someone new every day, right? Yeah. Just because, even in your classes, right? It's not just people in your own program. It's other students taking the same classes as you who are in different programs.
Going off what you said, it's sort of like in high school, you're forced to see the same people every day. Whereas in university, you get to choose who you want to be friends with, right? So I think that's like a key element of this, the key factor that distinguishes university from high school. And at least for me, I know I still have friends that I see that I was with in high school that I still hang out with to this day. But most of the people that I see in high school, I don't really hang out with to this day, because I think almost everybody who goes into university ends up making new friends and friends that who, really suit their personality or their style of understanding, their values and their morals and different stuff, and, just experimenting with new stuff. So.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree with that. I feel like university gives you a lot more independence.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's the key. You have utmost independence than dependence on others.
Like, for example, with that independence in high school, if you don't show up to a class, if you don't do well on a test, your high school teacher will call you or talk to you, and if things aren't resolved, they'll call your parents, right? In university, you don't show up for a class, nobody gives a shit. If in university you fail a test, you fail a class, nobody gives a shit. No one cares. Right? So it's a lot more responsibility in the fact that you have to handle that and you have to look out for yourself. And if you don't, then nobody's watching your back this time and nobody would care for you.
Other than, the academic part of high school, what were some experiences, extracurricular or just you as a student, experiences that have prepared you for university?
Well, I think the biggest one that sticks out is probably leadership camp, and I know Rafid knows of this as well because he's been to a couple of leadership camps as well. But leadership camp is this fun weekend where over 200 students at the school, they come together and they sleep at the school from Friday to Saturday. So they sleep overnight Friday, Saturday, and when they have another full day Sunday, and then they go home at night Sunday. So pretty much during this time, there's maybe 20 builders. So builders are these counselors, and they split up how many of these students they get, and they really try and enhance and develop every person's leadership skills and their leadership ability, because at the end of the day, everyone is a leader, everyone can be a leader. There's just different types of leaders, right? You can't pinpoint to one type of leader because everyone has their own leadership style. So I think leadership camp fosters that style everyone's unique style, and they don't put people down one path, but rather they try to lift everyone up at the same time. So some valuable lessons I learned when I was doing that was, we had to plan the entire schedule for the entire camp. So whether it be large group activities that we're doing, whether it be in-class activities that we're doing, whether it be, lunchtime, whatever it is, we had to plan what time we're doing everything, when, and also, coordinate people. And when we're actually at the camp, get them to do that activity at that time and go around and make sure everybody knows what activity we're doing next. And also, communicating with people at the camp and just having this, I think, really helped me develop my planning skills and my time management skills, because you have to realize, okay, this time we're doing this, next we're doing this. So you're thinking ahead, but you also have to stay in the present. So that helped me with university, because I said, okay, well, I need to do this assignment that's due in 2 weeks. So I need to start working on it now, and I'll do like 2-hour intervals of working on it. And by the time 2 weeks goes by, it'll be done. So short but long. In the short time, I'm not like completely pressuring myself to finish it, in one day. I'm starting ahead of time, so I know where, how long, what the length of a project is, but I also have enough time to ensure that the quality of the project is high.
Yo, that sounds like a really, really like cool extracurricular activity during high school. I wish I had that. What was your favorite activity?
At leadership camp, honestly, I really liked the trust falls, but pretty much we used to do this thing. They don't do it anymore because somebody got injured. But we used to do this thing where you're in groups, and so the first step is that you just standing still, you fall on your back. It's like you completely fall and someone's behind you and they catch you like under your armpits and don't let you hit the ground. And then the second step is that you stand on a chair and you do that again. And then the third step is that everybody takes turns standing on the desk.
Oh my God.
And they fall back, but the entire group catches them this time. So the entire group has like their arms out and the entire group catches them.
Yo, that sounds so scary.
But like the group part is the scariest part, because you have to be really careful of the head. And I think someone got a concussion, right?
Yeah, that's why they canceled it.
You mean
got a concussion.
the group didn't catch them, or?
I think they did, but
they tried, but like I think the force was just too
much.
I don't know what happened, but I think someone probably didn't like put their hands properly to like catch their head. They probably just let it slip a little bit, and then that's what happened.
Yeah, which was unfortunate. But I also really liked, there's another thing called the zipper. So pretty much, like, imagine super, super long hallway, the longest hallway in your old high school or anybody's high school, okay? We have students line up left side and right side. Imagine like a red carpet going down it. Students lining down on both sides of that, so standing up, and they have their hands out, like sort of like they're, I don't know, like about to like pop a squat or something. And then we have one person at the very front of it. So the reason it's called the zipper is because it's very long and thin. So you have one person at the front of it, all the students' hands out. This person runs down, everybody's hands go up. So it's like you're sort of running through like this amazing, like I don't know how to explain it, but it's this amazing feeling. And every single person at camp gets to run through this. Everybody.
And they pep you up too. They're like, yo, all your frustrations, let it out right here. And go wild, like just screaming, and then have a good time. And yeah, like honestly, like it really did feel like, one of those high school movies where like, like in the music videos, right? You know in High School Musical, there's like they're all running, and then the cheerleaders like pull up the pom-poms or whatever like that. It's basic. Yeah, like a pep rally. It's essentially that, but it's such a great environment. And like, I've always said that leadership camp was essentially like frosh. Like it's in a nutshell, leadership camp is frosh, but it actually teaches you leadership skills. Because I always thought like, like for example, leadership camp was just like, some place where you just like, have fun and, it's basically like camp. You don't really do much, and you just like meet new people. That's about it. But no, like I met new people. I've interacted and made new friends and do deep connections with them. And I also like got into the like that was my first way to like improve my leadership skills, because I realized that how much I took out and learned from it. Because I remember like there was these booklets that they usually give out, and I don't know who plans these. I don't know if it's the students or the teachers, but they're executed so well. I learned more in leadership camp than my entire school for the year. Like it was, it was that life changing.
Who comes up with these amazing activity titles? First of all, like, is it like every year the same stuff, or a new team picks up new activities that they come up with?
So it's like every year the same stuff, but also people add on like 1 or 2 new things each year.
So cool.
So like it has a tradition, but also it has new stuff as well.
Yeah, and the teams are so great because like at the end of it, you're with your team for 2 days, right? 2 nights, and you're stuck with them for the whole time. And it's like a team of like 8 or 9 people, and you're just stuck in a classroom together. And essentially, like, you do a bunch of activities with them, and then you have lunch with them, and also the people, like the builders who take care of you, like the builders are supposed to be the heads of the group, like your heads of the group take care of you so well. They make sure everyone feels welcomed and appreciated, like no matter who you are. Like it was the time when you don't like no one really cares about like who's who or who's what, or like like how popular is he or she, right? It's more so about like cultivating a really like welcoming environment, which I find is so great.
Welcoming, supportive, encouraging, motivating. Yeah.
So I know when we spoke a little bit about university before and high school, you said that in high school your GPA wasn't as high, and then now you're on the dean's list in university. What was your motivation behind that improvement?
So pretty much it was a lot of Mr. Noodles.
Mr. Noodles.
No, I'm kidding.
All-nighters.
Yeah, no. I'm joking. My motivation behind that, in high school, I was a person who really focused on pleasing other people and fitting in, and I felt the need to be cool, in air quotes, whatever that meant. Being cool meant. But in university, I started focusing more on myself and what I wanted to do, and how I could be a better person, and how I could make my academic studies better. So in high school, I didn't focus on school at all. I don't think I ever did homework, like actually. Whereas in university, I actually studied. I still didn't really do like any outside of class studying, but the biggest difference was that I actually listened in lecture. So I very detailedly listened to very detailed notes, and really understood, how my professor was sort of explaining it. I went to go talk to my professor after class. I talked to my TAs and made sure, like I was understanding the material correctly. And, then I started to see improvements, and seeing improvements in your grade is one of the best feelings ever. I started, focusing more of my time on studying, and understanding the lectures and studying for tests and making my, assignments of higher quality. And I just changed what I spent my time on. In high school, most of my time was spent, focusing on what I couldn't control. People liking me, if that group was going to invite me somewhere. Whereas in university, my entire mindset changed and my values changed. And I started focusing all my time on what I could control and what I enjoyed. And the more time I focused on school and academics, the better my grades got. And the better my grades got, the happier I felt. So it was like the cycle of just, doing things that, having new values and enjoying those values, and really, enjoying being myself.
Yeah, focusing on what you can control is a really good life tip, I would say, for anything.
So Eren, now is the time where we play rapid fire round, and it's going to be a good time.
I like rapid fire round. Let's do it.
All right, you sure? You sure about this?
Hell yeah. Don't ask me a deep ass question on the first one though.
All right. Yeah, so you have 5 seconds to answer each question, and I will time you.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, first question. What does happiness mean to you?
Happiness is being in the present moment and enjoying every moment as it goes by and expecting nothing else.
I need that as a quote. In a lot of different variations it is, but that one specifically, that's a quote you put on your wall, so you're always reminded of it.
Facts.
Like honestly, if Eren had a coffee shop, I think he should like paint that.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Put that
like
on
the
there.
wall.
Yeah,
yeah, it'd be cute. It'd be freaky.
that'd be fun.
So, what is your favorite book?
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, because it focuses on what you can't control and teaches you to be present in the moment.
Nice.
Also, I totally said don't ask me a deep question on the first one, and you asked me like, what does happiness mean to you? So
Oh, we had
It's
to
not that
make it
deep.
hard.
It's not that deep. Come on.
all right.
I think you just know your answers, you know.
Fair
You're
enough.
just
Okay.
on a roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Next question.
What's a current hobby of yours that you have right now?
Oh, this is a 5-second thing? I don't know. Playing tennis. There we go.
Nice. Within
Yeah.
5 seconds. I guess. I mean, do you play like with a teammate or? By
Yeah,
yourself?
so I have like 4 friends, and like depending on the day, like I'll hit one of them up and be like, well, actually, I don't know. I always have like I hit one up and I'm like, yo, tennis, and if he says no, then I hit the other one up and I'm like, yo, tennis, and if he says no, I'm like the other one up, I'm like, yo, tennis, and if he says no, then I hit the other one up. And if all of them say no, then I just go to the gym. But I love tennis. Tennis is such a fun sport. I love tennis. So much fun.
Damn, which one do you love more, ball or tennis?
Right now, tennis for sure. I played too much basketball. I was too involved in it, and it's a really great sport. Don't get me wrong, but tennis has a special place in my heart. I played like 2 years of tennis as well at Carleton, like those super intense trainers I went to at Carleton as well. So that was a lot of fun. But for some reason I stopped. But I don't know. I like tennis because it's an individual sport, and it's one that is like really like it's strategic, but it's also athletic ability. But also you need like a certain IQ to be able to play it, like because you have to understand your opponent and like how they're hitting it, and like if something is not working for you, then you have to change up your play style and hit stuff differently. And yeah, so I that's what I really like.
That's really cool. What do you want to accomplish before you die?
Dude, I can't answer that, man.
Yeah, 5 seconds up.
Not in 5 seconds. Not in 5 seconds. What do I want to accomplish before I die? I want to go to Vancouver again. I want to go to Banff. I want to go to Prague again. I want to go to Amsterdam again. I want to go to Brussels again. I want to go to Budapest again. I want to go to Australia. I want to go to New Zealand. I want to go to Thailand. I want to go to Iceland. I want to go to France. I want to go to the south of France. Pretty much I want to travel the entire world. Yeah, I want to go on an African safari.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. So I'm guessing you've done like a Europe trip before.
Yeah, so I think 1 year ago, actually, past summer, I started in Turkey because I'm from Turkey and my family lives in Turkey, like most of my family. I started Turkey and then I went Budapest. So I traveled with my best friend Doa. He's also Turkish. So we went Budapest, Vienna, Prague, Frankfurt, Cologne, Brussels, and then Amsterdam. And we stayed at Airbnbs in every single place, and amazing, beautiful, beautiful experience.
Was this like a planned trip or was it, spontaneous on the go?
Oh, planned. Everything was planned. All our Airbnbs were planned. Our plane tickets were planned. We only flew to Turkey and then we did train in between. So we bought an Interrail pass and we did specific days where we would go. So everything was planned. All the money was planned as well. Like we had a budget. Everywhere we wanted to go actually in those cities was also planned.
What were some of your best memories from the trip?
Just the people we met, and it was so much fun. So in Brussels and in Amsterdam. So in Brussels, we ran into these two girls from Toronto who were in the same Airbnb as us. So it was like this pretty big Airbnb that had like, I think two or three different bedrooms. So, we ran into them and we ended up, going to Antwerp and traveling together and spending time together. And then when we were in, So we met two different couples in Brussels. So one of them were the Toronto people, but we also met two people from Portugal. So we spent a lot of time with them. And both of these people actually were on their route to Amsterdam, and we were going to be in Amsterdam the same day as them. So we met up with both of them after in Amsterdam. So we met in Brussels and we met up with them in Amsterdam after. And yeah, it was just a really good time. And, you know, seeing the different culture and seeing the different people, and it's all beautiful. It's an amazing experience.
Especially a European country, because like I've always wanted to like, you know, like walk in the streets of like Germany and Greece. Like that's like my dream.
Yeah. It's beautiful. If I could go to another place, I'd definitely go to like Iceland or like Thailand or like Australia.
Ooh, yes, Thailand sounds fun.
Anywhere like nature filled is my place to go.
Yeah.
All right, Eren. Well, my next question is you have to choose one. What is your dream location, and where would you want to? If it was like somewhere you want to live in for like the rest of your life, which one would it be?
I'd live in Vancouver.
Same.
Because of the mountains or the beach?
The nature.
The beach counts nature.
Vancouver is this beautiful mix between city and nature. Like man, it's gorgeous. Like the parks in Vancouver, you can't compare to anything else. Like if you go to a like Lynn Canyon Park there, the trees, like everything, because the climate in Vancouver is a lot more like moderate and like tolerable, because like in the winters there, the coldest it gets is like -5. So all the nature there is like steady and has been growing, whereas like winter here, all the nature dies. Most of it dies, right? Or like different nature sets up. But the nature in Vancouver is like always like beautiful. Like you have moss on these huge trees, and you have, you know, leaves everywhere. And then you have like Granville Island, that's like this island full of smart like little shops. And you also have like UBC, which is surrounded by huge,
UBC is
like,
so beautiful. Like I saw the
beautiful, man. It's just like such a beautiful place to go and live. But it's very expensive. So, but yeah.
I told my mom and my dad, like if I was gonna move out of Ottawa, and if I was gonna stay in Canada, and I am gonna stay in Canada obviously, and I'm probably gonna be staying in Ottawa. But if there's any other place like I would go permanently, it would either be 1, Montreal, or 2, Vancouver. But Vancouver is like my top priority, because like I just know how beautiful of a city and an island it is. It's just something that you can't like, you know, compare with anything else. It has a perfect mix of everything. Because I don't like New York. Yeah. I wouldn't want to live in New York. Like I would tour New York.
No, me neither.
But I'd hate living there.
Next question. What was the meanest thing someone has ever said to you?
Oh, I don't know. They probably called me like fat or something. I don't really remember, but probably something along those lines.
Anyways, but yeah, thanks, Eren, for playing rapid fire round with us. You got
rapid fire.
You got like I think 1.5.
You got only one that was off the timer.
One.
But everything else was Gucci. Yeah.
Nice, Eren. Congrats.
Thank you. I feel accomplished. So.
All right. So, back to like some like, you know, serious questions, and this one is something that, you know, you're more passionate about. Your minor in sociology. What makes you so passionate about it?
Sociology is just very interesting to me. Ever since I was a young kid, I would like observe people and like their interactions and like what they say and their body language and their emotions and everything. So, you know, in university, I took an elective of sociology in first year, and I really enjoyed it. So I took more of it. And, you know, it really challenged my understanding of sociology, because it took it from a perspective of like, you know, people and culture and you know, institutions within society that perpetuate a certain, you know, hegemonic understanding or, you know, ideology. So I think that was really cool. And yeah, it really challenges your understanding of, you know, what meaning is in a certain topic. And I'll give you an example of this. So one of my classes was studies in addictions. So it really challenged the concept of addiction and what you think addiction is. Because if I tell you to think about, you know, the words that you associate with addiction right now, you would probably give me something like, I don't know, like poor, homeless, I don't know, like dirty, like I don't know, like everybody has this association of what addiction is in their mind, and they associate it with a person who looks a certain type of way, who does certain types of things, and who is like a fiend, and all that stuff. But when I took this class, it completely challenged my understanding of that, and I'll give you an example of why. So in one of the classes, he said, okay, well, they really tried to understand this concept of addiction from a point of view on drugs with cocaine. So what they did was they had this rat in a cage. Researchers put this rat in a cage, and they only had two things in the cage for the rat. So one of the things was a food button. So if the rat pressed that, he would get food. And the other one was this button where if he pressed it, he would get a shot of cocaine. So there's just these two things in the cage, and researchers ended up finding that the rat ended up pressing the cocaine button until he died. So he overdosed on cocaine. So the media took this and they said cocaine is inherently addicting. Cocaine kills you. Cocaine equals death. If you take cocaine, anybody who takes cocaine will die. This is a drug that nobody can overcome. It is inherently addicting. There's nothing you can do about it. It should be legal. It should be this. It should be that. And so researchers were like, wait, hold on a second. We're not, we didn't say that. This was just one experiment. So they said, okay, well, let's try the exact same thing, but let's just change up one variable. And the one variable that they changed was they put another rat in the cage. So again, two rats in the cage this time, one button that gives them food and one button that gives them cocaine. So what they found this time was that, well, the rats still pressed the cocaine button, but they did it a lot less frequently. And this is because sometimes they spent time playing with each other. Sometimes they spent time communicating with each other. They spent time having sex. They spent time eating. And so they didn't actually overdose. They didn't die. And so researchers were like, whoa, this is like super cool. So they applied this theory. And so the next time they went into the research, they said, okay, well, this time let's put two rats in there and let's put a spinning wheel, and let's put some grass in there and a few toys. And this time the rats actually pressed the cocaine button even less. And they pressed more of the food button, and they, spun around in the wheel. They played with some toys. They spent some time together. They lied down in the grass. And they did this research experiment several times, and they found that actually at the end of it, the results and the theoretical framework employed by the improvement of the rats not pressing the cocaine button was that the more that they enriched the environment of the rats, so the more that they, for example, put in another rat, or put in toys, or put in the wheel, or put in grass, the less that the rats ended up pressing the cocaine button. And so this was really interesting to me, and it challenged my understanding of what addiction is because I took this and I could understand how this can affect people, right? So if you take someone from a neighborhood who is, who has their basic necessities of food, their basic necessities of water, they have parks outside their house, they have nature, they have fresh air that they can breathe, they can go out and, buy food, they're in a safe neighborhood, they have a roof over their heads, then you're going to get someone who, has a good support system and who has something to live for. But if you take someone and you put them in an environment where, people in the streets, they have to watch their back, there's a lot of murder going on, people are paycheck to paycheck for paying rent, they don't have that much money to put food on the table to feed people, they don't have parks anywhere near them, so they can't enjoy nature, they can't go on walks, they fear for their lives, or whatever it may be. You end up in an environment where people are like, oh, well, fuck, I have nothing to live for, so I might as well use this drug, right? I don't really have something to look forward to. So, it makes sense when you apply that to people, and it really challenges your understanding of addiction of, okay, well, if addiction is supposed to be this inherently addicting thing that once you're in it, you can't help it, and it's a choice, addiction is your choice, but at the end of the day, we're put in these environments, 90% of the time without a choice, right? Whether it be, we're born into these environments from our parents, or, we don't have good jobs because we were born into this environment where the economy is bad, or, we need to make ends meet by feeding our children. And if that means that we can't get food ourselves, then we need to go searching for other things. All these stuff affect you. And at the end of the day, if you don't have that support system, if you don't have those necessities, then you're more prone to substance abuse.
Yeah, no, I always like my perspective completely changed when you were talking about all this, because I always like had the perception that, you get addicted from the drugs, right? And I've always had that perception, like they teach you in elementary school, if you do drugs, you're gonna get addicted and you're gonna die. And I don't want to be like that. And I always looked at people who like, do weed and everything. I'm like, yo, they're gonna be homeless, they're gonna be like that and everything. But when you were like talking about, how like it's the environment that affects you. It's not the drug, it's the environment that surrounds you. And if that's inducing you to take the drug, then there's a problem. And it's not more so a drug problem. It's more so like getting more appreciation, getting the love you deserve, that kind of stuff you need to fix that. Not other drugs to fix it, right? So I totally agree with with what you said. Like, we shouldn't be looking down on people for doing drug offenses every now and then. We should be more so focused on rehabilitating them and getting them some support system and proper income, because those things can give such a huge advantage in solving simple problems such as these. And I feel like we're heading into that direction slowly, but yeah, it's still a long road ahead.
No, that is true. And even I like how you, because I don't think that's something we often think about, when you said sometimes we are put into these environments where we don't have a choice, right? Mm-hmm. Some people, like you said, are born into that and they never made a choice, right? They never had a choice.
Yeah.
Some things to think about, yeah.
For sure.
Do you find it hard to manage having a major and a minor at the same time? What are some study habits that you adopted that's helped you through school?
Oh, I don't find it hard at all. I find it amazing. I always look forward to classes in my minor. I love sociology and I love comms, so I don't feel the pressure from, minoring in anything. And, some of the people in my program who take, the theoretical courses, who are forced to take them for their major or minor, they're like, oh, I don't like this. I'm sweating. This is so stressful. The teacher is so bad. The content is hard. I'm like, bro, this is amazing. I love theory. I love theory classes. So I don't find any of it challenging. I don't find it hard at all to do a minor or a major. I think it's great. I love it. But in terms of study habits, I like to start a project early just to understand the scope of it. Even if okay, well, I still have 2 weeks until it's due or 3 weeks until it's due. Just start it, bro. And if you realize, oh, well, this is a short project, I can start it next week or something, then okay, that's fine. But if you start a project 3 days before or even 2 days before, and you're like, dude, this is a really long project that requires a lot of time, you're going to end up grinding just to finish it. And you won't have time to review it or to check, okay, is this a high quality, is this high quality work? Is this good work? Do I need to adjust this? Do I need to edit this? It never hurts to have shit done beforehand. It never hurts to have work done beforehand, but it will hurt to have work to do at the last minute, because then you know that you're not putting up your highest quality work. You're just rushing to get it done so you don't end up missing the deadline.
Very well said. That's the number one advice I give whenever a first year or anyone else asks me, how do you get through university?
Facts.
Time management.
Facts. Time management is huge, bro.
Yeah. What are some of the university experiences that, that impacted you and your growth? Sorry. Let me rephrase that. Oops. What are some of the university experiences that, happened to you which impacted your growth and shaped you who you are today?
Honestly, just the classes I took, because they really enabled me to really critically think about a subject and do some research on it, and just not blindly deliver my opinion based on what I thought, because at the end of the day it really taught me you have to research something and really understand it from a scientific point of view before you can really just be oh no, this is this way, this is that way, and really critically think about it. And it also really taught me if you have to focus up on your thesis. I know in high school it was tough, because whenever my English teacher was okay, make a thesis for this, I was bro, what am I supposed to do? Theses were so hard. But in university, they're so much easier, or I don't know, I just understood them better because like it's just something you're arguing for. And it's great because in my program, you have so much freedom. So like so many of the papers I write in sociology or communication and media studies, that I have the freedom to like focus on anything that I can apply that theory with, right? So if I want to focus on meditation, I can focus on meditation. If I want to focus on sociology or addiction or whatever it may be, I can focus on those topics. I just need to make sure that my thesis, what I'm explaining, what I'm talking about, matches the research I have, and they go hand in hand in like complementing each other, and it has this argument that proves that. So I have this thesis, so this argument, and my subpoints, so like my research proves my argument is true or supports it.
Yeah, and also it's topics that you want to talk about, right? Probably you're more interested in those things then.
Yeah, like in high school, there were a lot of classes I didn't want to take, but I had to take. Like I didn't want to take any math classes, but so many of them were required for so many programs, which was crazy. But in university, it's just much more enjoyable because I really enjoyed my program. So I was able to talk about what I wanted to talk about and able to, really focus on academic work that was interesting to me compared to academic work that I didn't enjoy. And if I didn't enjoy it, I didn't spend that much time on it. So if you're trying to pick something for university and you're like, oh, well, I gotta be a doctor, because it's the right way to go. But I really enjoy, computer science, and I love spending time on it. But I don't really enjoy being a doctor and studying this stuff. Go with what you enjoy, man. Do what you have fun with, because at the end of the day, that's going to be something that you're going to be doing for 4 years. And it's going to be countless hours in a day that you're going to be working on that. So if you're working on something you're enjoying and something that you like doing, then you're going to have fun and you won't see the time going by as quickly. But if you're working on something that you don't enjoy and you don't feel like doing, then each minute is going to feel like an hour.
So one thing, Eren, that I've noticed is that even from high school, during English class, I know you already earlier mentioned you don't do homework at all, but whenever you go up and whenever it's time to speak or time to storytell or time to read a passage, Eren's the one person that is the kid that does so well at public speaking, and the class is in awe. He was a student to make the class feel in awe whenever he presented. And I don't know how he does it, because he doesn't have any notes or nothing. And I'm how do you present on a topic that you don't even know? What the heck? His public speaking game was on another level. Back when I remember in high school, and a lot of my friends got tips from Eren for learning how to speak for presentations. And I'm actually wondering, Eren, how do you improve your public speaking? And what tips can you offer to someone who's looking to break that shell and learning to be like you and be a captivating speaker?
Well, first of all, you should just understand that what you're presenting on is cool, that's a cool topic, and that you enjoy it. Hopefully that you enjoy what you're presenting on. And if other people don't enjoy it, then that's fine. They don't have to enjoy it, right? But you make the most of what you can in the moment. You're there and you're presenting, and some people might think, oh, he's not good at presenting, or oh, he's doing this or he's doing that. But what are you gonna do? Go up to them and be like, hey, stop thinking that in your head? No, that's something that you can't control, right? And it goes back to what I said earlier, but don't focus on what you can't control. Only focus on what you can control. And what I can control when I'm public speaking is my tone, is my voice, is my body language, is my, eye contact with the audience members, and it's making sure that everyone is engaged and listening to my presentation. And if I do that by speaking enthusiastically and passionately about what I'm talking about, then that will engage the audience. So, have proper body language, feet shoulder width apart, arms to the side. Make sure you don't fidget with anything. Make sure you're not fidgeting with your hands, with your shirt, arms to the side. Make sure you have good eye contact and with the entire room, not just one person, one specific place at a time. Make sure you're going from left to right, whatever it may be. make sure you have like good points. So like do your research beforehand and understand your topic well, and make sure you have like good bullet points of what you want to talk about. And before you start to go present, just like have those bullet points and like go on the slide that you want to go on and look at the bullet point and be like, this correlates with this research that I've done, and then just start talking about it. Just let it loose. Don't have a script of what you have to say, because then you're just creating more pressure for yourself. Because then if you're like, if I messed up this one word, then I'm messing up the entire script, right? Go with the flow, go with what you feel, enjoy it in the moment, and just like be present, right? Because the whole point is that you're, letting these people know about the knowledge that you have. And I'm sure that they'll be able to appreciate that. And if you enjoy, teaching people and letting people know about that, then it'll be a good time for you too. There's no pressure, just stay calm and do your job and just present. So it's all good. And smile too,
Damn, yeah.
Be present in the moment.
I was just gonna say, I actually took a lot of what you said, and I try to emulate that as well. I always try. I noticed that I should improve my tone and my tempo when I speak as well, because I noticed that if you vary your tempo, your audience vary your tempo in a good way, right? Not in a bad way, but vary it so that way it captivates your audience, and you make them wondering what's next. And I think that's the key to be a really good public speaker. Is what I think. My perspective, my takeaway from what you said.
That's true, and I can give you an example. So right now, I'm gonna say nothing at all. Okay, what I'm speaking to you, when I'm speaking right now, it's gonna mean nothing, right? But since I'm slowing down and then speeding back up, and then sometimes even pausing, you're really just left wondering, what is this guy gonna say next? Where am I going with this? And it's getting to a point where it feels like there's a buildup, and it just keeps going and going and going. And you really just want to know where I'm going with this, but I'm not saying anything important. But when you do listen to it, it feels like I'm saying a lot of stuff, and it feels like I'm going somewhere, but I really am not, right? I'm just changing the voice and my tempo. I'm changing the way I say stuff, and at the end of the day, that's what really matters.
Okay, that one worked.
Yeah, so it's the way you say stuff, and it's how you emulate it, and your your tone. And
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. Tell us a bit more about meditation. When did it first become a part of your life, and why?
So meditation first came into my life when I was in first year university. So I was trying to balance school with my job, with my, spending time with my family and my friends. And it was really tough because, I felt like I had a lot going on, and I just didn't have the time to do it. So I felt like I was overwhelmed. I had this to do, I had that to do, but then I also had to do this, and I also had to do that. Just a lot coming on at once, and I just couldn't handle it. So I started meditating, and I started realizing, just stay in the moment, because before I'd be like, I have to do this, I have to do that, and I gotta get around to this, and it just made everything worse. It was like a domino effect. But then I started realizing, okay, take a step back. The time you spend worrying about it is not gonna do anything. It's not gonna help. So you might as well be present and be like, okay, I know I have to do this, this, and this. Which one of these can I focus on first? How much time should I spend on it? Okay, let me start doing this now. So for me, at least, it helped. It took me away from this mindset of worry and stress and anxiety, and it put me into this mindset of work and focus and productivity and being in the present moment. Because if you're not in the present moment, then you're not able to do productive work, right? Because you're thinking about something else, or you're doing something else, or you're thinking about doing something else, which all takes you out of the present moment, and you can't give your full effort and your full focus and energy and attention to that thing at that moment. So it really helped me, bring my senses into my body and understand how my body is feeling, and understand how the feelings in my body affect my mind. So it really gave me a greater sense of self, and being more comfortable with myself and being able to manage different tasks.
And also, like, we noticed that you use Headspace, and I remember that when I was in, I think, first year or second year, I saw you post about it on Instagram. You're one of the first people I knew that, like, started to use it, and I'm like, and I saw, like, you seem so much more happier, like from using it, and I'm actually wondering, like, your experience with it and how it's helped you to, as a person, and also as a way for you to, like, get out of your like isolated and toxic mindset before.
I don't know if I would say toxic mindset. I would say isolated mindset.
Yes.
But I wouldn't say toxic mindset.
Yeah, sorry about the wording. I meant isolated. That's
No, I understand what you're saying. For sure. I think it helped because Headspace is this app where you have a lot of different. It's guided meditation sessions. So whether it be like managing anxiety, reframing stress, productivity, creativity, like motivation, mindful eating, any pack you choose, you can choose between 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and 15 minutes meditation session, and just plug your headphones in, or turn the volume up on your speaker, and you just let the person, it's a guided meditation, so they run you through it and they say, okay, take some deep breaths, close your eyes, if you notice that you've been distracted, just gently note it and bring your attention back to the body. So it's about being present in the moment, and after you realize that you've wandered away from the present moment, you come back to the present moment. And I think it helped because it being like an app on my phone, it's portable. I can bring it anywhere I want to go. My phone is always with me, and it's something that's accessible. So nowadays we have internet wherever we go. So you don't really need to train yourself. You just pop open this app, and it trains you and it helps you be in the present moment. So I think that was really helpful for me, for sure.
No, I definitely agree. I think I this isn't the first time we talk about Headspace, right? Because we've talked before about it. And yeah, I checked it out and I thought it was really cool. So I'm thinking of actually getting the trial and trying it out.
Oh, did you try it out?
Because I kind of understood what you meant by the different packages that they give you. So yeah, I thought it was really cool. So I'll try it out, yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad that. Yeah, you should.
Because sometimes, like when, for example, someone wants to start meditation and you just look up a YouTube video, it's not always that easy to follow along. And it also kind of depends on like the person who's
guiding
like
you,
the audio, and the person guiding you. Yeah, exactly. So maybe by having this app and having the different packages, it might be easier for people to get into it.
Oh, that's also very true, because with Headspace, another thing is that it's always the same person, or you can choose between a male and a female speaker, but it's always the same male or female speaker. So that idea of consistency also in voice also brings you a sense of comfort, because you're used to hearing that person's voice, and it's a very comforting and relaxed voice. So that's also very important, I think. Now that you mentioned that, I didn't think about that before, but now that you mentioned it, I think that's very important as well.
Do you have any last advice for our audience?
Focus on what you can control. If you're debating on what you can go into in university, apply to everything and then see what you enjoy doing more. If you are having trouble in school, talk to your professors or your TAs. That's like a huge thing that you can do. I think that's about it. But I also want to say thank you, Rafid and Darina, for having me. I think what you guys are doing, like on this platform here, it's truly amazing. Being able to have access to a resource that, where individuals from different university degrees, from different lines of work in the world, are able to come together and share their knowledge and share their experience and share their expertise for perhaps high school students, elementary school students, these students who don't have this experience yet and are looking for some guidance. I think this is an excellent resource for them to consult. So props to you guys and kudos to you guys for, doing this amazing platform. So yeah, I think this is an awesome initiative. So cheers.
Thank you, Eren. And so thank you for being on the show. Seriously, talking about some of honestly life's biggest advice that you can give. Like, for example, being present in the moment and focusing on what you can control. Because I for sure, back in first year, back in high school, like you mentioned, focusing on the wrong things. Like, who am I gonna hang out with at lunch? Oh my god, no one is hanging out with me. Oh my god, am I a loner? Am I a loser? And to now being a fourth year and realizing, no, I know my priorities and what's important to me and what I care about. And I think if someone had told me those things when I was younger, it would have helped prepare me better for life, not just university, a lot sooner. So thank you for talking about it, for bringing up those good points.
For sure. I just want to add one more thing. So I know you said like very, very wise words or like very helpful words of like for your entire life. I think I agree with that to a certain extent, but also I'm just like 21 years old, right? So when I'm, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever it may be, you're going to have like different life lessons and different understandings, because life is this thing where you just keep learning and keep experiencing and keep learning from your mistakes. So, and just making better decisions the next time around. So while they may be wise decisions in the moment right now, from my understandings, I'm going to make more mistakes and just learn from those decisions and just make better ones in the future. Don't be too hard on yourself if you mess up, because that's what life is. And, just make better decisions based on your past experiences next time.
And if you'd like to hear more about Eren, you can definitely check out his LinkedIn and give him a message, or his Instagram at Eren Egitman, all in the description below.
And be sure to check us out on all our social media platforms at Capital Interns on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. If you're not already, follow and subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts to be notified of all our latest episodes.
The next guest is a very talented graphic designer who is doing a joint degree program at Sheridan College and York University, and has done some awesome internships at some really cool magazine companies. Stay tuned as we delve into their leadership, their background, and their personal life. All next time on Capital Interns. Bye for now.
Bye.
Why don't you let us drive you home? You really, really gotta go?
Come on, man. Nobody's forcing you to leave, you know? Wiping your slate clean ain't so easy. You see what I